Welcome back to the School of Self-Worth, my friends. I am your host, Nicole Song. Today, we get to talk about a situation that happens for so many high-achieving Asian American corporate leaders, and that is when your idea is ignored. And even worse, when someone else scoops it up and then everyone else is like, oh, yeah, that's such a great idea. And you're like, hello, I just said that. So if this has ever happened to you, this episode is for you. And if you're an Asian American corporate leader who wants to stop being the invisible backbone at work and start being the authority, DM me shift at Nicole Song on Instagram because I've got something over there for you. Okay, friends, let's get into this juicy topic. So, before your idea gets ignored, there's a whole host of things that are happening. And today we're going to get into what those things are and how to address them so that you can finally have your brilliant idea land in the meetings that you're in. Because here's what I do know anyone who is listening to this, like you are already top notch skillful at what you do. You are great. You have so much experience. You are so smart. You are so capable. You wouldn't be listening to this otherwise. And so I already know that is true about you. And the challenge you're having is that this is not landing for other people. Like they might think that you're smart and capable and pretty good, but they tend to think of you more as like an invisible workhorse or someone who is really reliable and gets a lot of things done. And when you have that kind of reputation, when it comes to being heard in a really big meeting, it can feel really challenging for the idea that you have to land with not only other people in the room, but the decision makers, the leadership who are the ones who are looking for what is going to happen next. And so you might ask yourself or be wondering, like, why are you struggling to get your point across? You know, it's a good idea. You know, it's something that should be implemented, and yet it's not going your way. So, we're going to talk about first what's happening at the very beginning and even in the moments before you say it or present it. And so, let's talk first about how you're sharing this idea. Are you over explaining what's going on? Are you giving lots of details that they don't need? Or are you actually waiting in the meeting too long? Like everyone has talked about that topic, and that moment you had, that pause would have been perfect for you to add that idea and to present it, has passed already. And then maybe afterward, this all happens and you grumble about how some people are so loud and they're getting credit for things that are your ideas. There's just so many different rich things that could be happening here. And it's important for you to take a look at the way that you are jumping in those environments. A lot of my clients come to me and they're comfortable sharing things one-on-one with leadership or, in a smaller meeting. But once the group hits like 3 or 4 people, they start to go into this place where they lose their stability. They start to feel anxious and stressed. They get into self doubt or worry about what they're saying. And even if they've really prepared themselves for this meeting in every way, like they've gone through all of their talking points, they feel really clear on what they need to say, they're still struggling to get that point across. And the thing is, if you are feeling like you have self doubt, you're feeling anxious or stressed about what you're saying, people notice that. They may not say anything, but they are certainly aware if you're feeling that way. And if you cannot trust your own ideas, how on earth could you expect other people to trust what you're saying? And so, this is really the first important key point. If there is any element of destabilization, of feeling anxious, like your nervous system is dysregulated, you're going to feel and have a hard time when you're presenting something that's new, that's bold, that's different from what's been heard before. And then the next piece of this that's really important to understand is, how are you positioning yourself? Are you positioning the idea and you as the authority? Are you actually coming in and saying, I know this is going to really work. This is something we really need to test and try. Or are you deferring to other people even as you're presenting it? You might say, oh, right. Hey, Sarah over there also was working on this project and we saw the same thing. Like, are you constantly giving that authority away by referring to other people or, over explaining it? saying things like but and putting in words that are actually making people question what you're doing. And it is so super common for Asian American women to, first of all, wait until everyone else has talked. That's something you probably were raised with as a way of doing things, because you're always putting everybody else first, particularly people who are more senior than you or more, who are older than you like to defer to other people and their authority because you were probably taught to be obedient that way. And then on top of that, you are always making sure that everybody else is heard before you are. Like you're not really prioritizing your individual authentic voice and who you are and your authority. And so when you're doing this in this environment, all of these pieces are adding up as bricks that are not allowing you to step forward in a really powerful way. Here's the thing, I don't actually want you to be the loudest, and I don't think that is necessary. You do need to be able to intuit the key moment to step in and to say something. So you have to know when to say it, and you also have to be willing to interrupt others if necessary, or to, if they are trying to interrupt you, to pause them and say, hey, I'm not done yet, or hey, this is what we're doing right now. And if you are challenged with that, that's something I'm going to get into more in another episode, because this was occurring for one of my clients where she was really feeling challenged by people who reported to her, but actually also are older or men or white men. And that can feel really hard for her. So we're going to get into that in another episode. But I want you to also pay attention to if this is occurring for you, where you're constantly deferring to other people. When we have this, what's happening is you're not positioning yourself as the most powerful person to present the idea that you've got. And when we do this, it's so subtle, it's so hidden, it's so unconscious. And yet, that is also what leadership is observing, and they're noticing about you. And they might be saying to your boss, or it might be your boss saying to you, like, I wish that you would come forward with more boldness in your ideas. I wish that you would just say it more. I wish you would be more strategic. I wish you would be louder. And they're not really needing you to be any of those things. What they're saying is what I'm talking about. They're seeing all these subconscious things where you're doubting yourself, where you're not coming forward, you're not speaking in the moment that matters. And they can see that from you, and they may not actually know how to communicate that to you. So that's the first piece that's really important to understand. But here is the kicker, and this is another one that is also very subtle, and you're probably not even aware that you're doing this, is, are you making everyone else wrong when they don't adopt your idea? So it's not actually about right or wrong. This comes up so much with my clients where they have an idea and they're so fixated on it. So let's say you're in a situation where you actually do say it, you get that out there on the table, and someone picks up a piece of your idea, but they don't pick up the whole thing. They pick up a part of it and they say, this is going to be part of a bigger plan. Do you actually get defensive or mad and think that they're ruining it? They're like, no, you're like, this is not what I'm presenting. This is not the full picture. This is not going to work. And this happens frequently. When we get into this right or wrong mentality, we can get really stuck in this idea that you want to be right, rather than trying to move things forward collaboratively to get to resolution. Real leaders do not get stuck on the right answer. They know that it requires more minds than their own to come up with solutions to complex problems. And if you are being seen, if you're seen as someone who cannot collaborate, who doesn't understand how to get to that big picture, this is probably why you're getting be more strategic feedback, is because you're not able to release and let go of your idea as being the only way. And you're going to have trouble being seen as a leader and getting the accompanying promotion and the raise until you're able to start to see more big picture, be in the vision of the direction of where things need to go. So typically, I find if people feel like their ideas aren't landing, it's because not only are they feeling a little stressed or worried about what they're presenting, they're also fixated on it needing to be one way only. And the biggest thing I will tell you, and I promise you this as a leader, it is complex. There are moving pieces that people below you cannot see. And your job is to navigate all of those pieces and put them together in a way to actually still get to resolution. So this is something for you to start to take a look at, start to notice within yourself, to say, okay, how can I start to stabilize myself first? And then how do I start to position myself as the authority? And then thirdly, how do I not get stuck on my way being the only way? So now we're going to get into some practical elements of how to make some changes. And the first thing you have to do is to take a look at language. How are you presenting things? Are you over explaining it? Get clear on your points. Get clear on what you're saying. Don't go above and beyond in talking about things, and be okay if there's a little bit of silence after you present something. The second thing for you to do is to stop needing to be right. Be open to hearing how your idea could be one in a blend of things that could actually get to a resolution. Be open to seeing how all these ideas could piece together into a beautiful collaborative solution. And then be more committed to the solution than to your own agenda. The more you do this, the more detached you get around your idea, I promise you, the more people are going to start to see you as someone who has leadership potential. They'll start to say, wow, this is someone I actually might want to get on track for promotion. And, we're really in an era where there's a lot of uncertainty in lots of different industries. Really be committed to your own growth, be committed to being in expansion for how you're doing things. And that's actually going to be the greatest, best job security, is to actually be focused on how can I adapt? How can I shift? How can I expand? So, if you are ready to start positioning yourself as a leader on a consistent basis, and it feels like recognition is actually happening really slowly, I have got a system that helps position you as a promotion ready person within your current organization. And this one is special. It's just for Asian American corporate leaders exceeding expectations, but they're still being overlooked. And if you want to grab it, DM me leader at Nicole Song on Instagram, and I will get that over to you. Okay, friends, thanks so much for being here today. I can't wait to see you in our next episode.